there.
Great.
All right, we're doing it. All right. Beaming to you from the Plastic Microphone Studios, nestled deep in the heart of Cajun country. I'm your ever-enthusiastic host, Jamie Ray, and I want to welcome you to Fave 5 from Fans. We're super excited today. I've got a brand new guest, and we are going to talk about some of our teeny tiniest favorites. So today I've invited Jeff Corbello to the Plastic Microphone Studios to discuss our Fave 5 movie miniatures. Jeff is another member of the 501st and, as I said, a first-time guest. As you may have already guessed, I'm working my way through the vast Alpha Garrison. And that's right, that means Chelsea, I'm coming for you. So be ready. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you for having me, Jamie.
I instantly get the feeling like this is just so nice and new. Like we've almost already done a little bit of it before. I don't know why.
It feels so comfortable.
Comfortable. That's it.
Too. But he's.
You gotta love technology. Luckily, we didn't get all the way through.
No.
So Jeff.
Okay.
Why are we here talking about teeny tiny little miniatures?
So I started building miniatures for wargaming and for Dungeons & Dragons, things like that.
Warcraft? Warhammer.
40K.
See?
I don't play the game.
Right.
I build the stuff for it.
Oh, okay.
And actually, I will bring it to one of our local game stores and just go, here.
That's what I was wanting to get you to. Because I love that about you. You don't even have to buy it. I'll just buy it and paint it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I build terrain and objects and stuff like that for these games, for D&D. And then I started noticing them more and more in movies. I knew they used miniatures and stuff. And then I started noticing more details. And once you start looking for them, you start seeing, oh, yeah, there's that mini and there's that thing. But, there's this landscape that they would have had to done too. And how did they get the grass and the hills and the flowers?
Yeah.
And then once I started building them all, I went, well, why don't I put them on YouTube as well? So I started putting videos of how I make all this.
And what is your YouTube channel?
My YouTube channel is Red Dog Terrain.
Red Dog Terrain. Okay, you can see it. It's either right up here or right down there. You'll see it. Awesome. Cool. Well, listen, we have got so much to cover. We're going to make a stop between our number 3 and number 2s, our penultimates. Okay, cha-ching, that's a quarter. And
see what you did there.
I know, right? Huh?
You got...
What a jerk.
I can't. I'm not even tell my joke now.
No, you better. You better.
All right.
So let's dive right in and do your honorable mentions. Now, what is an honorable mention? You've listened to the show. What is an honorable mention?
Honorable mention is something that just didn't quite make it onto your list. Maybe it was right there on the edge, or maybe it's something that it got included in your list just because it was so odd or so unique, but it may not be a favorite. Or, and I've seen a couple of these, it's just so bad you had to tell people about it. So,
in a good way, though.
Yes.
Because we don't bash. No. We talk about things
these
that
are our
love.
favorites. These are the ones we like and love.
All right, so why don't you give me your first honorable mention?
Okay, and I followed the rules.
Oh, okay. You heard that, Mark?
2
two
honorable mentions.
All right. Next thing you know, you'll be bringing notes.
I have notes.
Oh, so guys do that. Anyway.
So there's 2 honorable mentions, so the next one will be my last one, so therefore this is my penultimate honorable mention.
Cha-ching! 50 cents!
Yes!
Woo! But in today's market, it's more like 15 cents. But anyway, I'll take it.
So, my first honorable mention, I'm not a huge fan of this movie.
Okay.
But I had to include it on the list for what it did for movies and for movie miniatures.
Okay.
The movie I'm talking about is Voyage to the Moon, or in French, Le Voyage dans la Lune.
That's exactly how you pronounce it.
I speak Spanish, not French.
See, and I say it with confidence, so there you go. No, that's the great one with the guy gets
right.
Yeah.
So this is 1902. It is a silent film. It's about 17 minutes long.
122 years ago.
Wow. How old do we feel?
I don't know. I feel older than you. Sorry. Anyway, I don't mean to interrupt you.
So the miniature from this movie that is the most famous is the moon. Mm-hmm. So there's a man's face with a moon around it, and a rocket lands in his eye. You have seen it before. An absolute classic.
Smashing Pumpkins.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Again, the movie's not the most interesting.
It's a short film, right?
Oh yeah, it's 17 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's free on YouTube. Go find it.
And there's several different versions. I've seen that they've gone back and
recolored them.
Yes, exactly.
So, it's not the most interesting, but for what it did for movies, it had to be included on my list.
No, that's actually a great pick.
And Thomas Edison,
Uh-huh.
Illegally got copies of the movie, brought it to the United States, and made a ton of money off of it. The creator, George Méliès, made almost no money from the movie in America and ended up broke.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
That's my fun fact.
But not so fun.
All right, it's
a
fact. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so now
all right.
my last one.
Okay.
This is a movie that I had never seen before starting my list.
Okay.
When we started talking about doing the list, I went and looked on the internet. I knew the movies I liked. I asked friends, and a friend of mine told me.
That's a great way to find them. Asking people.
Yes, and with what we do, people had lots of opinions. So somebody told me about the movie This Island Earth.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It is the miniature is 200 feet long. They built a massive landscape,
right?
And they had string attached to the landscape and up, and had meteors sliding down onto.
I remember that
and
scene.
The explosions, and again, I'd never heard of the movie. I enjoyed this little film. This was a great early science fiction
film.
It was a great science fiction movie that I really, really got into.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So, well, no, I'm not going to say anything because there's another movie that's right in that genre that I'm wondering if someone told you about, but we'll get down to the end and then I'll mention it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
My fun fact for this movie.
Oh, another fun fact.
I think I have a fun fact for every movie.
Did somebody cut off a toe while they were making this, or? I mean, your other fact wasn't that fun.
That's right. That's right. So the heavy metal band Gwar.
Oh yeah, with the costumes and everything.
Named one of their albums "This Toilet Earth" after the movie "This Island Earth." So that's my fun fact.
That is a fun.
That is a fun fact.
I'm digging that. That's a great one.
So
you're really bringing it. I like this.
I tried.
You really bring it.
I put in effort.
I could see. I could tell. I thank you for that. You know. Plus, you made that huge drive to come over here.
Yes.
I mean, had to cross Ambassador.
It took me longer to get from the door to the car and get the right music than it did to actually drive over here.
Well, I'm glad you made the trip. All right. So I have 2 honorable mentions.
Great.
The very first one, I did digging, and I could not find a lot of the information. I always like to give, wherever possible, a lot of props. Because, the Hollywood industries, they're huge listeners of the show. I mean, they're all... Everybody listens, That's why I'm number 14. Last week, I was number 14 on the... Not just the specialty podcast. I was the number 14 podcast in Angola. I don't know if that was the prison or the island. So either one of them, I'll visit.
You were still 14.
14. I'm going to take it, But the first one comes from the 70s, which is the movies, the Irwin Allen disaster films. Mm-hmm. You may not be familiar with those, but you've seen them.
I've seen them, and I know lots about them because of some of your podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, my first one, I actually have the DVD here because I love it so much, is Earthquake. Okay? You've got Charlton Heston, you've got Ava Gardner, George Kennedy, Lauren Green, Genevieve Bujold. You're watching Voyager right now?
I am.
She actually was Captain Janeway for about 3 or 4 days. And then...
Like a stunt double?
No, she was Captain Janeway. And then they got rid of her and Kate Mulgrew... Or she quit. Because she couldn't... She was a movie
this is
star.
like before they even really started... Like at the beginning of the show?
When they were filming it, in production, she was there 3 or 4 days, and then she said, "I just can't do this all these long hours." She's used to being a movie star or whatever.
Okay.
And Richard Roundtree, which is awesome. So anyway, great movie. It's about an earthquake. Mm-hmm. Shocker.
Right.
In Los Angeles, and so the one I'm talking about. is it's fine. It's fine. I'm sure it's fine. I'll get some glue. Should we stop? I mean,
No, it's well. I tell people if. So, do you want to explain what you just did?
I tossed the DVD, and he has a not so miniature over here, and it bounced off of it, and I'm a horrible host. I'm a horrible host.
No, you know? Like I tell people, pick it up, play with it. If it breaks, it means I didn't build it very well. Don't worry, I've already dropped it.
It's going out of here in 2 pieces.
That's for sure.
No. But anyway, so the number one miniature I'm talking about is the entirety of downtown LA.
Okay.
They again, like you were saying, 200 on. I'm not sure, but it's a massive section of downtown LA. Comes up to around the waist of 7 of them. And there's some pictures, and I'm going to share them here, and you'll see. But they recreate the entire the streets, the cars, the buildings, everything, and I love the way that they'll take those things and superimpose them or underimpose them with real footage, so you really don't know where the miniature stops and where this. So it's like what you were talking about earlier. So I love that movie, Earthquake. Definitely go out and you're welcome to borrow that one. As a matter of fact, that's why I put it right there.
I
so
see
you wouldn't
that.
Forget.
But it's not open.
No, it's okay. I found it at a garage sale and upgraded my older copy.
You're gonna have to open it before you.
Okay.
I'm not taking an open copy.
That's fine.
All right.
I don't mind at all.
Okay.
I don't mind. Okay. So my other honorable mention, since that was my penultimate. No, I didn't hear the ring. I guess I only get to use it once. Is going to be one of my favorite John Carpenter films of all time. It's Escape from New York.
Great movie.
Got the VHS copy of that one here, which is signed by like a ton of people. This was a gift from Aaron Myers. Thank you, buddy. I love this, and I show it off all the time. But in this, they built. Let me just lightly put that right there.
Yeah, because that's valuable.
It's got a little more. No, I was gonna think it's got a little more weight.
Oh, okay.
But so they build Manhattan Island, which if you've never seen the movie, it's been turned into a federal prison, kind of like a one-way prison. You go in, you don't come out.
Okay.
And there's a scene where Snake Plissken is flying in at night on a glider, and there's a screen of what it looks like, and it's a computer because it's set in the future, which is now 20-something years in our past. Wow. So because they didn't have all that computing power, what they did is they actually built all of the landscape and colored it dark, and then they took some tape, which is like a vinyl tape that's used to do dry erase boards and other things like that, and they went along all of the edges of the buildings and did it in a format that would show off light, like it was reflective.
Oh.
So then they got the camera on it, and they came down and threw it, and as it goes, when you're looking at the screen, you're thinking you're seeing a computer, but you're seeing actual footage, and because of those edges being shown off,
kind of glows.
Yeah.
Huh.
So anyway, it's very cool. That was Roy Arbogast.
Okay.
Who headed up that group. Lots of great things in there. That was Burnout Baltimore, I think. It was, this whole section of Baltimore had burned. And so they didn't have to build that. It was already there, But anyway, that's going to be it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So that was on my long list, but I didn't know that it had... I didn't come across that little fact.
Yeah, well, there you go. My fun fact for you.
There you go.
All right. Well, now that we've gotten our audibles out of the way, I say we get ready and go start with your number 5.
My fave 5. My fifth 5.
Fifth favorite
fave
5
for fans.
So.
Got it. So my number 5 is Back to the Future 3.
Okay. Well, I won't interrupt.
Okay. What's your question?
The train?
The train.
The train. Of course, it had to be the train.
Okay. But the train that goes off the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Not the one that goes off in the barn.
Correct. Which was a miniature, but it was supposed to be a miniature, so I don't think that counts.
Such a great scene.
I have watched that because when I started doing the list, I looked at the movie, I watched the movie, and I kept watching over again, trying to see where the real train ended, and it's... we're in the filming process.
Oh, okay.
Where the real train ended and where the miniature started. And it's hard to tell the difference. They did a quality job on this train. I found out that it was a Prescott and Arizona Central Railroad's locomotive number 3.
3, right? Yeah,
3.
Number 3. That's what I thought.
For Back to the Future 3.
Oh, okay. Okay, there you go. I'm a
purpose.
huge fan of old-timey railroads. And so, yeah. Just like me and Sheldon. I like that.
My father loves trains. He's got a whole...
Really?
Yeah. So, like, when I started building this stuff, he's like, well, wait, what are you doing? And so we talk about
that's awesome.
Miniature grasses and flowers and stuff. It's wonderful. Sorry.
Trust me, they if it's not their first episode, they know what to expect.
So yeah, the movie, they get the train up to 88 miles per hour, and it goes flying off of. It would have been Clara Ravine.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then it changes, but you can see it fly right off the edge. And like I watched frame by frame, watching it as it looks like a real train to me.
Wow.
So they also had built miniature tracks and had a car drive on the side with the camera on top as they filmed driving through the desert on this little miniature train set. And
that's cool.
Yes.
That's really cool.
All right, so my fun fact for Back to the Future 3.
And it could be fun or it could be somebody losing a digit. Either one. Let's find out what happens.
So it was the state of California. They said that they could use that area for free as long as the production company promised to leave all of the sets there.
Oh, okay.
Hoping that future movies would use it and have an industry that would start to grow there. Right. They did exactly that. And then, like 7 years later, it all burned down from a lightning strike.
Wow.
Yeah.
That bites. Yeah. So, fun fact.
Okay.
Have you seen the Back to the Future 3 Terminator mashup yet?
No.
So I'll have to send you this. So the part where Marty is in the 50s and he goes toward the back of the drive-in. So and then he jumps and then he's in the Terminator world. And all of the Terminators it's done so well too.
That's super cool.
I'll have to send that to you.
For sure.
Who did it, but it's very cool, very well done.
I like that.
And he drops around a little bit from him getting shot at and stuff. So it's great. It's great. All right.
So, your number 5?
My number 5.
Okay.
You're going to like this.
Okay.
Okay, because it's Star Wars.
Okay.
Okay. It is from Star Wars A New Hope.
Okay.
Or Episode 4. Or Star Wars, if you're my age. It has got to be the Death Star Trench Run. Probably, for me, one of the most amazing scenes in all of the Star Wars movies. Hands down. Both hands at that point because he doesn't lose it until Empire. And just the way that they built it and then they filmed it and they used little miniatures and just all of the different group. So that's kind of where ILM was getting started,
right?
With Bruce Logan kind of directing the team back there. So they built like the entire surface of it. And then that trench that goes in there, and it's all 3 sides, and it's just the amount of detail done to it is just so. And you look back at that again, practical effects. You know, you can't do this. Well, you can do this stuff with CGI, but it's just not the same.
It isn't.
Yeah, and the massive scale that it was. You know,
and those are all just like parts from like battleships and just it's stuff that
hairdryer pieces.
They just stuck things together, and it was like. You know, you put a coat of gray paint on it and a little bit of black wash. You're like, oh well, yeah, that looks like a real sci-fi thing.
There you go.
Oh yeah,
and that's what Star Trek did. You know, all the best ones.
Yeah, it was all on a budget. Yep.
Yeah,
good stuff.
All right, well, let us bounce back and now get to your number 4.
Okay.
Your number 4, Fave 5 from fans.
I can almost guarantee this is on your list. When I started making my list, I was like, this is on his list.
Okay.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
It is not. Because,
Okay.
okay, it's not a favorite. And on this show, that's all I've got to say.
Okay, wait.
But you can ask.
Is the movie not your favorite, or is the miniature not one of your
Well,
favorites?
they just didn't make my top.
You did it.
Oh my god. No! There's some people laughing right now.
Oh, I know they are.
Yeah.
Because you rag on people when they do it.
I did. You haven't done it yet.
I haven't. I have
You've been good. You've been
I've
very
been
good.
so good.
So, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this movie or its miniatures. The mothership, in freaking credible.
Absolutely.
Okay, Devil's Tower,
Yes.
Mound, whatever, great. All of those things, okay? It just is not on my list because there's so many other things. There's 2 things on my list from the same universe
Okay.
that are more favorite than the Close Encounters.
Sure.
But it's about you. So
Okay.
tell me why you love it so much that you would want to take me in the street and fight me.
It's all about the mothership. It is incredible. And I've watched, there was a 20-minute documentary just on the building of that. It was done by Adam Savage.
Okay.
And it is...
Wait. The documentary or the building?
No, the documentary
Oh,
is...
okay.
Sorry.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, I didn't know
No,
age-wise he might have been...
the builder was Gregory Jen?
Jen.
Okay. Again, it comes all down to details, and this is just bits and pieces that they have stuck together, and when it all comes together, when you put the right paint and washes on it, it all looks good. They also have tiny pinpricks throughout the whole, like that middle section. Mm-hmm. There are tiny pinpricks to make it look like windows and light and like their stuff. So when they move, the camera pans.
Yeah.
It looks like there's something moving in front of the window.
And that's not fiber optics, baby.
It's amazing.
Yes, it is.
And just like Back to the Future, I have watched it over and over again. Mm-hmm. My wife, she laughed at me because I paused the movie and I got up and I stood in front of the TV.
Gonna burn your eyes out.
I'm like, baby, look at this. What about this?
And she's,
Oh, yeah.
No, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So you've met her.
No, I have one. So let me ask you this.
Okay.
The spaceship turns upside down, too, doesn't it? Is that the ship that does?
No.
No? Okay. I just didn't know at one point.
It looks like it should, because the bottom of the ship has got all, kind of like the antennas and everything down there, and you would, like the Stanley Cup, you want to put it the other way.
Right.
It should go this way, but all the antennas are at the bottom.
Oh, okay. Cool,
yes.
Cool. All right, I'm done with it.
Okay.
Wonderful pick. Do you happen to have a fun fact?
I have a fun fact about this one. Okay. So, this is not the fun fact. There's more about it. So, included built into the ship, because, they would put things on there, paint it, and you wouldn't tell. There is a Volkswagen bus.
Okay.
A submarine, a shark, an R2-D2, a U.S. mailbox, an aircraft, a TIE fighter, and a small cemetery plot in the mothership.
Wow.
They're hard to see. R2-D2 you can see really well.
Okay.
It's right when he crests, and you pause, you're like, oh, yeah, that is R2. As soon as you know, you're like,
yeah.
All right, that's R2-D2. Yeah.
So, that makes me think, so it's R2-D2 from Star Wars, okay? It's a cemetery.
A cemetery.
Poltergeist.
Okay. A Volkswagen bus.
A bus. I don't know.
A submarine.
I don't know.
A shark.
Well, Jaws.
Okay. A U.S. mailbox.
Don't know.
An aircraft.
Like a aircraft. Oh, that could be 1941.
Okay. And a TIE fighter, also Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, that's pretty cool. I'm sure the mailbox and stuff gets in there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Okay, so my fun fact.
Share that picture right here.
Yes.
You're going to send it to me.
Okay.
Okay.
It's right here.
Okay. Oh.
My fun fact. Production. Oh, so the production team bought the house.
Okay.
That, the Roy's house. They bought it for $35,000, and they bought the whole thing so they could do whatever they wanted to the inside. And they cut down walls so they could put cameras where they wanted to, and then sold it for $50,000 and made money off of it.
Wow.
Even though they had kind of destroyed the inside.
Ah! Well, there you go. Fun
That's
fact.
my fun fact.
That is fun.
And nobody lost a finger.
Okay. No, that we know of.
True.
Just saying.
All right. Your number 4.
Okay, so my number 4 is the first of 2 things from the same universe. Okay? But both of them had such a profound effect on me that they both had to have positions right here. Okay?
Great.
So I'm going to go with my first number 4, which is from Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan.
Okay.
Or Star Trek 2. And it is the battle, the miniatures, between the Enterprise and the Reliant. The whole, I had read about, space flight since I was a kid, Heinlein and Asimov and stuff. Still didn't quite understand it. But in that battle sequence where, they're on top of each other and they're, that whole 3-dimensional thing just clicked
That's
for
what
me.
it...
And then the use of those, and not so tiny miniatures either, to put that together, it was fantastic for me. I loved it. I remember going, I think it was like 12 years old when I saw that movie. And, it was cool because there was a little horror in it with, with all the bodies. And Khan, of course, was back. And so many great things about it. But those ships were just amazing, especially after the motion picture where they took you the 20-minute trip around the Enterprise. Nobody wants to see that, Bob Wise wanted to see it, but, And that's fine, Bob. Thank you. Thank you for what you did.
I've seen it once.
Yeah, it's enough. There's some cool scenes in it. The wrist communicators, which they only made that one appearance in, are in that movie, which makes me think of an Apple Watch.
Yeah.
Which I'm working on a whole episode about true things from Star Trek, which I found kind of cool. Inventions that doors, all kinds of stuff. Some things that I'm finding, I'm getting way off track here, but that's what to expect. Things like the psst that he used. Okay, you're thinking that's kind of, they're doing that now. They were actually doing that in the 50s. Didn't know about that.
Oh.
Yeah, they were giving injections with high pressure.
No kidding.
Yeah. So anyway, check in for that one. It's going to be a good one. But anyway, that's my number 4, the Reliant and the Enterprise.
Did you have a favorite of the 2?
Oh my God, yeah, it's always going to be the Enterprise.
Okay, I just make sure.
The Reliant's awesome,
Yeah.
especially with that pod on top when it blows through it. And I loved the way that it comes limping home. It's such an old glory. She'd had that whole retrofit, and again, getting off here, what Nicholas Myers did with a shoestring budget, versus what the people did with the motion picture, it is simply amazing. I love what Nick Myers did with that one, what he did with Star Trek 6, what he did with the 7% Solution, which I don't know if you ever saw that movie about.
Don't know that one at all.
Yeah, that's about Sherlock Holmes's cocaine and absinthe. Oh, it's great. Anyway, but I just love what they were able to do, and those miniatures show up again and again because they know to hold on to it.
Yeah.
So that's my number 4.
Okay.
So now we'll go to your number 3.
Okay. 1933.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Okay. We're done.
Okay.
Wait, we matched.
Do you want to just move on to the next one?
I want you to go ahead. But there you go. That's classic.
Okay. Of course, we're talking about King Kong.
Oh. No, I'm just messing with you.
Dude. I was like, oh no! What other one did I miss? Again, this is similar to the voyage to the moon. Mm-hmm. What it did for film and for movies is still being seen today, and are still using these techniques, and they have evolved to what we have now, to the volume that Disney uses and all this. Mm-hmm. The miniature is Kong,
right?
18 inches tall Kong. He could breathe.
Right.
The chest moved and everything.
The hairs moved.
But did it?
I don't know.
Okay,
looks like it did.
The hairs move because it was all stop motion.
Right.
So when he would touch it slightly, the hairs moved, and people are like, oh, well, the hairs moved.
Yeah, but
But it looks better that way.
Right, it does.
It looks like the wind. It looks like he's moving.
Exactly.
Yes.
Makes you wonder, did they plan that, or was it a cool after effect? Like, oh, look what we did.
From what I understood, it was not. It was a mistake. Like he tried not to touch it, but had to.
Yeah. I think it's. So, what particular thing about which miniature is your favorite? Kong?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. Because there are the set pieces and all that, but no, it is Kong, and the way that they put him in the film. They would have him there, and then they would have the matte painting, and then the screen behind him, So they would have Kong, and they would have the matte painting behind him, and then they would have the video screen there too. They would also, there would be, and you can see it so well at the bottom corners. You would see a person, and you would see Kong there, and the way that they manipulated the angle, because sometimes they filmed from this angle through a mirror so that it looked like somebody was there with the screen behind it, and it is seamless. Obviously you can see nowadays, nearly 100 years later, that it's not right, but it was, the people back then just didn't know, and it's still just mind-blowing what they did with this.
So, and you brought up mats. That could be a whole nother show. The artistry that went into painting on glass.
Yes.
And especially the really neat ones are when they don't paint a section and they film the mat and then they film the stuff behind it, and it just goes together. Okay.
The forced perspective?
Yes. Oh. So that is a great choice.
Okay.
Do you have a fun fact about it?
I do.
Or do you have any more facts about it?
I mean, we could talk for a long time about Kong. And again, watched, I think it was a 34-minute documentary just about the filming of Kong.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm going, wow.
How? Yeah.
So in the movie, they were using real moss on some of the logs and stuff that were in the foreground.
Right.
One of the little pieces of moss or grass grew a flower overnight.
Oh, wow.
And they did not notice it the next day. And filmed the whole movie. So there's a section where all of a sudden a flower pops up out of nowhere.
Wow. Well, it is Skull Island. Anything's possible.
There you go.
So there you go.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. All right.
So does that rearrange your list?
No.
Okay.
No. We'll get to mine.
Okay.
We'll get to it.
All right.
I got a few things to add to it. So
great.
I will instead go back with my second, so we say bookend to the Star Trek universe. And now we're going to jump to Star Trek: The Next Generation, the Battle of Wolf 359.
Okay, that's the first.
That is season 3 finale.
Okay.
And season 4 series premiere.
Okay.
Where the Borg are coming into Sector 00, coming toward Earth, and Starfleet throws every ship they have at it, including the Saratoga, which is the ship that Captain Sisko ends up on when he loses his wife. Spoiler alert. Which is a reused version of the Reliant.
Huh. Okay.
Okay. So what I love about this one is that you were talking earlier, Greg Jean. He was in charge of this section.
Oh, nice.
Same guy again. And Ed McCricks, and of course, just countless people who were taking every possible kit bash piece that they could do and build together and burn it and do all the things to make all of those ships that were simply destroyed. Along with the Borg cube, which is fascinating.
That's the one I really like.
Yeah, it is so awesome. But I just loved seeing, even though it's just split seconds and you have to pause it maybe to get to see it, the amount of ships, the sheer number that you see on screen, and you're just going by and they're just bumping them out of the way, and all those souls were gone, and it just is amazing. I'm gonna go back to it over and over and over again. Fun fact: Wolf 359 is actually the name of a star. And it was the name of an Outer Limits episode.
Oh.
As well. Back in the day. The black and white
It's
ones.
also a podcast.
It is.
It's a radio, like a radio drama.
Yeah.
Did you listen to that one?
I've heard it before.
Okay.
Maybe like an episode or two. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Nice.
1 through 5 times. So there you go. All right. Well, this is the point where we're going to stop for just a few minutes.
Okay.
You have brought some goodies to share with us.
I have.
And I'd like you to take over and show.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this one. Okay, so this is the latest one that I built. Two friends of mine just had their first child, and they were trying to clean out a bunch of stuff in the house. And he comes over and he goes, "Here's this half-built Gundam." And I said, "Great." I said, "You know I'm not going to finish building this, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "And you know I'm going to destroy it, right?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Okay, good." So I'm going to try and
we're going to get some better pictures to share as well.
This is the Gundam's final resting place in just a pool that has been created by all these stones. It's this. By the way, and this is all actual insulation foam.
Oh, really?
Almost everything I build is out of insulation foam.
Okay.
Yeah,
like the big sheets of it?
Big sheets. Yeah, the stuff in your walls.
Yeah.
So this one's kind of heavy because it's got all the resin. But that's...
Wow, that's still light.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow. So all the texture actually made with spray paint.
Okay.
Spray paint eats foam.
That's true.
So I cut a few
the petroleum
pieces, and then I sprayed it on there, and it ate all the foam to make this neat little texture.
Very cool.
All right, so the next one I made this one for Mom.
Oh.
So they have these miniatures. We lived in England when I was a kid. Okay. These miniature cottages, little ceramic cottages, and Mom brought one to me. She's like, "Oh, could you use this for your D&D stuff?" And I was like, "Well, it's not the right size." I said, "How about I make one that, looks like what you brought me?"
Oh.
So this is Carol's cottage. So again, and
awesome.
you can feel this weighs.
And this one's light.
Yeah. All that is insulation foam and some cardboard.
Is this like some train grass?
So this is static grass. The roof is paintbrushes.
Oh.
You just trim off all the paintbrushes and you stack them on there.
So are these individual cubes?
They are individual bricks that I cut.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy, man.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah, and then so you'll like this one because. As a person from Louisiana, where's one? The barrels. Oh wait, no, here they are.
Yeah.
These are Mardi Gras beads. You know how you get the little barrel Mardi Gras beads? And like, oh, this is the perfect size.
God, you must have a huge junk drawer.
Drawer or drawers?
Closets. Yeah. I don't want to dig in your drawers. I'm just saying, there's a lot in there.
There's the whole shed is
wow
packed full of stuff. And then when I start
in a perfectly organized way, though.
I spent 2 weeks. I got so tired of my mess. I spent 2 weeks. I stopped building, stopped filming, just to organize.
Wow.
And then, like, when I show you the next one, it's a lot of, like, trash bashing, where you just take bits of whatever and just slap them together. That takes up a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so...
All right, so let's put those over there.
I'm gonna put...
Let's get the big one over
this
here.
One over here, and I'm going to put this one here.
So should I drive it at actual speed, or...
Very, very slowly, you mean?
This is awesome.
So this is my sand crawler. This way.
I'm going to move it to give you more room.
So, as you can see, this is yes, it's a miniature. So this is built to scale for the little Warhammer or Star Wars miniatures, where an inch is 5 feet.
Wow.
This is to scale for it.
That is awesome. So what is that big hole?
So in Star Wars, it's got a little compartment that they all sit in. It's not exactly the same as the one in A New Hope, because all of the sandcrawlers look slightly different, had different little compartments. But these are just bits. This
looks like a washer that goes on a sink.
Yes.
It is?
It's the
little screen.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is just part of a toy. This is a button from a calculator. This is part of I think it's part of a transformer.
So it's a robot in disguise.
It's just bits and pieces everywhere. And then, so that... Oh no.
I'm going to throw a little extra light on it.
Okay. So that people can see how it's built.
Wow.
That's just foam and cardboard inside.
That's cool. Oh.
It started as a wine box.
Ah, tequila.
Oh, it's tequila. You're right. So yeah.
Oh, and the little hook on top.
Yeah. And then this is like people bring me their misprints of 3D prints and they just go, oh, can you use this? I said, yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
wow.
this is drywall tape.
Yeah.
And you're like,
with a pattern in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
Yeah.
And again, where can people go and see all of this stuff?
So I put all my videos on Red Dog Terrain on YouTube. I have a Instagram and a Facebook.
Okay.
But yeah.
And we're going to get all of those and put them at the end.
YouTube is where, if you want to see, what I built and how I built it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And my videos usually are 6 to 10 minutes long, so you can kind of see the process of how I lost my phone.
Okay. Wow. Well, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that
Absolutely.
with us.
Thank you for giving me time on your show to show.
All 19 people will see that. All right. Well, we are now at the part of the show where you're going to provide us with your penultimate choice. Ding, ding. Hey!
You got it that time. Okay. So this is the one where I cheated.
Okay.
I could not pick one.
Okay.
So I just included the entire Star Wars universe.
Oh, of course you did. Oh, God, I had such high hopes for you.
It's not my number one. It's not my number one.
No, it's your number 2, 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5, 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, 2.9,
yes.
2.10, 2.11, and 2.13?
What about 12? Did you include the Ewok movies?
Oh, God. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. All right, so...
Do you like the Ewok movies?
Oh, yeah, I have them on DVD.
Good, okay.
Yeah.
We can still be friends. So, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I'm part of the 501st Legion.
Tusken Raider.
I'm a Tusken Raider. I've got a few other
that's
ones.
your other ride's
yeah,
Sandcrawler. You should get a bumper sticker that says that.
My other ride's a Sandcrawler?
Yeah.
I'm sure I could make one.
I'm sure you could.
So like you mentioned with the Trench Run, I've seen the original Star Destroyer miniature. It was years and years ago. They did an exhibit here.
Oh, yeah, the Science Museum.
Yeah, the movie Magic, something like that.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, it was there. They had the original Star Destroyer.
Right.
You can see the champion stickers for the spark plug.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it is just bits and pieces and junk just slapped on there.
Literally, just all kinds of stuff.
And there's Star there's all of it. And I could not pick a movie or a miniature because, especially for the first 3, there were so many miniatures.
Yeah.
However, one of my favorite ones is from a movie that not too many people enjoyed, was Phantom Menace.
Okay.
So they built a miniature of Mos Espa, where the pod race is.
Scout loves the pod race.
I don't know why people rag on the pod race. I enjoy the pod race.
That's you and Scout both. It's hard. I don't know if you ever watched that episode. We
I have not gone that far back.
Star Wars moments. That is Scout's Star Wars moment, and for all of the right reasons, you know. So which was your favorite pod though? Pod racer.
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to go. Not Anakin's.
I like the one they're rectangular. I think that one's kind of cool.
I like the one that's kind of like a wheel.
Oh,
that he sits.
That's a good one too. Yeah.
And then there's the one where it's like 2 V's.
Yes. Yeah.
I like that one too. So in the stands, there are people and aliens.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what those are?
I don't remember.
They're Q-tips. They took Q-tips, painted them, stuck them on there. You cannot tell as the camera flies over this miniature.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is a fun fact.
It is.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So Star Wars,
Yeah.
all of it, that's my number 2.
That's probably the most breaking of one rule that's ever come. There's been some people who've chosen like 7 or 8 things, or maybe even 12.
That seems like a bad break in the rule.
But you've got like almost 15. So, and it's fine. You brought it, and you defended it. And I will take it out of your hide later.
Okay.
And we're totally good to go.
Okay, great. It's time to run.
Yeah. So, my number 2 is King Kong. All right, Same thing. Willis H. O'Brien and Buzz Gibson were 2 of the lead guys who did Kong. And I'm with you exactly. The way that Kong moves, the way that he looks. My favorite miniature of Kong is when he's strapped in New York. And because not only now you're moving, but you've got these chains moving, and then he's breaking it, and it's not, it doesn't fly apart, it has to come apart. Mm-hmm. And every single one of those little movements is a picture.
Yep.
And you've got the humans running around in the foreground of it, and it's just amazing what he does with that, with the whole thing. And then the creepiest thing is when you see Kong without all the skin on it, and it's just and he's got the eyes and the mouth,
Yeah. So there were 2 Kongs that they built.
Okay.
There was 2 miniatures. They were same size, and you can tell the difference.
Really?
One has got a more protruding mouth. And I don't remember. There was reasons for using different ones.
Okay.
I think one was more mobile, so it was a further one, and one was kind of more close up. But yeah, they built 2 of them.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. But there's so many things. And so the fun story I wanted to share was that before COVID-19 hit, the Sunday before they announced the 2-week stay at home, I went to see King Kong at the 14 where Michael McManus works. And it was one of those flashback theaters, And so I'm sitting there and watching it. It's not the biggest screen, but on a big screen, and it just blew me away.
I would love to see
it. And they those kind of movies come around, and so some of the old ones I really try. I had to see The Werewolf and the Invisible Man and another one in Lake Charles too.
Okay.
So they didn't make it around, but I can remember just sitting there, it's incredible what they did with the miniatures. And then, and I'll be, completely forward, the Fave, when she gets wet and he blows her, it's very erotic. I mean, not like monkey, but just like her diaphanous dress and stuff. And I'm sitting here going, wow, this is 33, But it's one of the best. I mean, but excellent choice on your
Likewise.
part. Thank you. All right. Well, now that we've played around enough, we are at what is your favorite movie miniature?
So this choice is based. The movie I'm going to talk about is great.
Okay.
But it's the miniature that is the reason that this is on number
Oddly
1.
enough, so mine too.
Okay. I am talking about Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
Okay.
Minas Tirith, the city, is enormous.
Is that the one where the Eye of Sauron is?
No. This is this. Oh, my wife is gonna be so mad if I
the
get
Elf
this
City.
wrong. I believe it is the Elf City.
Okay.
And I had to write all this down. So it is 1:14 scale, and at that, it is 23 feet tall.
Wow.
The miniature version. That is how large that to scale. That's how big it is. There are 1,000 individual homes in this miniature.
Jeez.
There is working trebuchets on the miniature.
Wow.
And I
know what that is.
Again, just like some of the other ones, pause, start, pause, and you can see.
Honey, can see.
Oh, well,
it's great.
Lord of the Rings is one of her favorites,
Oh,
so
it
she
is?
watched it with
Okay,
me. Yeah,
okay.
she was like, "Can we actually watch it?" I was like, "No."
Silly question.
I'm looking at little tiny windows, honey, not Gimli. I've watched other YouTube creators rebuild this thing, and I've seen, again, documentaries on it. I am absolutely blown away every time I watch this. And I don't watch it too often. I usually watch it whenever Haley puts it on, and it's just awe-inspiring what these people did.
Yeah.
You know, the Weta Workshop made this incredible miniature. They actually don't call them miniatures.
Yeah.
They call them bigatures because at 23 feet tall, you know, it's not small.
Right.
So yeah, it's and they used parts of it for other parts. Like, you know, they kind of broke it down and used different parts. It's incredible.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow. Good choice,
So,
sir.
my fun fact.
Okay.
My wife told me this one.
Oh, thank you.
In Return of the King, there's a scene where
Second movie or third?
this is the
Second one.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. So there's a scene where Aragorn and Gimli and all of them are running across the hill.
Okay.
And you only really see their silhouettes. Okay. And it's like one quick shot, and they're just running along the hill. And Vigo, the guy who played Aragorn, was like, "Hey, let's camp out the night before because we need to get this sunrise shot." And they were like, he's like, "No, let's really do it." So they all hung out. They all camped out the night before, got super drunk. And as they have to get up, they get ready. And as they run, as soon as they get off of camera, Orlando Bloom just vomits everywhere. Yeah.
That is a fun fact.
So, Minas Tirith, Return of the King, watch it, pause it, play it over and over again.
Bravo, sir.
Yeah.
Good choice.
That's my number one.
All right. Well, let's see.
I'm very interested
You
in
brought
this.
a bunch of your miniatures.
Okay.
I actually have a miniature. It's not a screen-used one,
Sure.
but it came with the 50th anniversary of this movie.
Okay.
This is one of Ray Harryhausen's classics.
Sure.
Okay. He wanted it in color, but the director did not have enough money, so it was turned out in black and white. But for the 50th anniversary, a few years after the director had died, Harryhausen worked with a group to colorize it.
Nice.
And that brought forth, and I'm going to say it wrong, Ymir.
Okay.
Which was the name of the creature from 20 million miles to Earth.
Okay.
Okay. And this is him right here. He's got a couple little I got it for a song because this thing is so expensive. But super awesome. Feel free to pick it up, move it around. Like I said, I've got the little pieces. I've glued them on once before and they've come off. But it's such a detailed creature, and the movements in 20 million miles to Earth is just, it's so smooth, so fluid. It's one of the great 50 sci-fi movies of all time. Harryhausen was, of course, one of the masters. I've got one of the DVD collections up there. I mean,
I saw that.
Jason, you've got the Argonauts, you've got all, Sinbad, all of those movies. But out of those, the black and white 20 Million Miles to Earth was my favorite.
So, I'm gonna, before you get mad at me, I've never seen the full movie, but I have seen the clips.
Yes.
So when I saw him up there, I was like, all right, I know what that.
He can't get much past you. And the thing is he's not huge. He's not, a kaiju that's, 20 stories high. He's probably 3 stories high, maybe. But just the way that he comes and his movements, that he seems alive, Yeah. Like, Kong is wonderful. Don't get me wrong. But it's got a mechanics to it. I feel that this one does not. It's very smooth. And yeah, it's fine that you've never seen it. And the interesting is his name is Ymir, and they changed it because it means something in Hebrew or whatever that they didn't know about.
Like a bad thing?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
But I don't actually know, but I'll try to put the definition down here. But they just did call it. They just call it the creature. But,
okay. Nice.
So yeah, there you
Wonderful.
go. So that's my number one.
Great.
Yeah.
I like this.
All right.
Yeah.
Ah. So,
Good choices.
thank you. Excellent choices, sir.
I'm surprised. Like, I'm legitimately surprised we only had one.
I know. Well, there's so many out there.
There are, and I guess when I started making lists, I was like, well,
Well, we actually did kind of have two crossovers. Since you picked
yes.
every freaking Star Wars movie.
All right, fine.
You know?
But like, when you start looking at this, it's just, there's the list of like all the major ones, like, because I went and found a list.
Yeah.
Like Inception was on, and all these other movies, like, well, I don't want to pick the same thing, but like, they're I'm really surprised we,
Yeah, that's the great thing about it. Sometimes it really is. Yeah. I will say, you were talking about forced perspective earlier. I saw a very interesting documentary about forced perspective in the Lord of the Rings movies.
Okay.
And how like Gandalf and Frodo are in the same room, and they're using like over here. It's a plate that's really big. And when the camera like moves on a gimbal in a circle around, and then when it comes over and he reaches and grabs it, it's like full size. It's just amazing stuff. I mean, again, practical effects, you can't beat them.
No.
You just can't beat them.
No.
So. Okay, well, this is going to be part of the show since I liked what you brought. You got good energy. You did your homework.
I did.
Yeah, he only
notes.
had 32 honorable mentions.
No, I had two honorable mentions
and
then one that was kind of 17 movies in one.
Yeah. But what would you like to do next?
We talked about it already.
I know. I see that we're doing this for the
pretend like
pocket,
we didn't talk
like
about
we
the
didn't
story?
talk about it, and you should go, why don't we?
What if we?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
So, you're a fan of Red Dwarf.
I am a fan of Red Dwarf.
I'm a huge fan of Red Dwarf.
Are you?
So I was thinking our top.
I'll play it back. How about they cancel each other out in this episode?
And we're good.
There you go. We're good.
Okay, so
I didn't say it. You didn't.
I didn't say it. You just okay. Our Fave 5 Red Dwarf episodes.
I'm down with that.
Gotcha.
That's gonna be fun.
I have another story.
Oh, okay. Bring it on.
Do you know the first time we met?
Was I drunk?
No, I hope not.
No.
And you're probably going to get this wrong because I don't think you remember. Because okay, so it would have been 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh my gosh!
Yes.
No.
Way before we knew each other and became friends. There was like an open garage sale behind the mall.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also part of Festival International.
Okay.
Festival International had a booth there where they were selling lots of their stuff from the past.
Okay.
You walked up and you had a t-shirt that said...
I
Ask me about my podcast.
Oh, I had that shirt on?
You had the shirt on.
Wow.
And I was like, hey, tell me about your podcast.
You're one of the 3 people that have asked me that.
And you told me all about your podcast. And I was like, oh, great. He's like, what would you like to talk about? I was like, I like Star Wars. And you're like, uh-huh.
I didn't do that.
But
I was on TV that day.
Were you really?
Yes, I was.
Nice.
Because somebody came and we're doing interviews, and I've got my shirt on, and I'm like that. I was citywide.
There you go, city famous. So yeah, no, but you were
Awesome.
like, oh, okay, Star Wars, great.
Yeah. That's actually where I bought Son of Kong on DVD.
Very nice.
There was some pretty cool stuff there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the first time we met.
Wow, you're something. See, when I come across the little people, it's hard for me to...
We're not allowed to curse on this, right?
No.
Okay, then I'll...
I'm pretty sure what you would say. I've signed 2 autographs, and I sure have. Steve and his lovely daughter Tweety from Steve's Snaketuary.
Okay.
I actually signed an autograph for them.
That's
first one. Yeah. You could have been. It could have been you.
Could have been me.
Yeah.
I've done a few in my Tusken Raider.
Oh, cool.
And I just, in huge block letters, I just write Tusken.
In cursive? Tusken Raiders, no cursive?
No. It's time to end the podcast, right? you know how I feel about cursive.
Wow, so you're ready for the summer. Are you done?
Like...
With your real job?
No.
Oh, okay.
So,
And you might have to go into it. I just thought you were...
I guess it doesn't matter. I'm a school teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I teach ESL, English as a Second Language, students. I'm what they call a 12-month employee.
Oh, okay.
So I work during the summer, and what I do during the summer, we have kids who are doing summer school and grade recovery. I help them, and when they're done with that, that's when I start doing like data analysis and start preparing for the next year and getting all the accommodation.
Okay.
It's a lot of sitting in front of a computer, listening to music or podcasts.
Podcasts, yeah. But we've got 130 plus that you can listen to. So
I started going back.
Yeah. They get kind of bad the further you go back.
So where should I stop?
No, go all the way.
Oh, go all the way. Okay.
The first one is one of my very favorites with me and Super Gus, where we talk about camp horror movies. But
that seems up your alley.
Yeah, that's where I found out about his immense. See, that's Sleepaway Camp. Mm-hmm. That's his immense. He watches that every weekend. Every weekend he watches that movie. That's like his comfort thing. He puts it on while he's playing games or doing whatnot. Yeah, absolutely. And I've met Felisa Rose a couple of times. You see that that paddle over there? That's 4 of the people from it.
Neat.
Yeah, it was her birthday, so I couldn't get to her that day, but I'm going to see her again. I've met her several times. She's so sweet.
Nice.
So if you ever get the chance, even if you're not a big fan, to go and meet her.
I've seen it once, and I was just like, wow.
What? Yeah.
Okay.
And it spawned so many different things. We talk about Dr. Aunt Martha, the woman who makes all those things happen. And Scout, again, she actually wrote a paper on Angela and what happened and all these. It's amazing. We printed a copy, and when I met her, I gave her a copy.
Oh, neato.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Very cool.
So, anyway, all right. Well, Red Dwarf episodes.
Sounds
We're
good.
going to be down for it.
Yep.
Thank you again.
This was so much fun.
I'm glad. I really
I had a blast.
I'm glad, and thank you for coming over here. And
of course,
I'm very excited to use my background and So
I often wondered what the plastic microphone studio looked like.
There you go. Now you know.
Yeah, it is, and you can tell them. I walked in and went.
Yeah, you did. We were 20 minutes before we got it started because you'd ask questions and then I'd answer the questions and then look at this.
What about this?
And so much. But so great. Well, we will get together and we will do the Red Dwarf.
Great.
Again, thank you. And I want to thank all of you out there in the podcast universe for joining us for this tiny episode of Fave 5 from Fans. We really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did like it, tell a friend. It's a great way to do it. And if you didn't like it, well, the Empire might be inclined to re-educate you. So just stand by for that. We invite you to interact with us on Twitter, Fave5 from Fans. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok. How you like that? Huh? That's going to be their new logo. Yeah, their new jingle.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. Cool. Remember to catch new episodes every Friday, so be sure to subscribe, follow us, and if you'd like to come on the show, if you have an idea for something, I'm always looking for people to reach out, and just shoot us a message. And that's it. Remember, folks, it may not be the best, it may not be the most popular, but if it's your favorite, then it's good enough for us. Thanks for joining us. Jeffrey, take us out. Give us your best Tusken Raider roar.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can do it. I love it, man. Give it up.
Okay.
See you next time.
Bye.